now that's good. Let's do that.
For all the black women out here, you know, y'all, if y'all been following me, man, y'all know I've been having fun with AI. I've been having fun making my own rap songs and shit, having a great time. But there's one song I made I dedicated to black women.
All right.
And I want to just play a little bit, and I just want to see if y'all get it, right? You know, there's some more metaphors in there. I just want to see if y'all get it. I'm just gonna play a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on. Here we go, y'all.
Never dance with the devil in the pale moonlight. See, that's when temptation come dressed in diamonds. But I'd rather invest in royalty. Black queens, my preference, my presence, my protection. Let's talk about it. Never dance with the devil in the pale moonlight, because the price of admission is your soul on ice. They lure you with the glitter, champagne on the rocks, but the bill come due with them eternal locks. I've seen brothers gamble hearts just to chase that thrill, only to wake up empty with the void to fill. Me, I'd rather walk steady with the queen by my side. Her love ain't counterfeit, it's the truth amplified. Black woman, you, the rose in the cracks of the street, turn concrete jungles into soil so sweet. When the world play games, you remind me of the cost. You the compass, the wisdom, the bridge never lost. I ain't blinded by illusions now. I study the art of a woman who been molding kingdoms right from the start. You the cradle of creation, you the rhythm, the song. While the devil plays short, you've been built for the long. Moonlight shadows trying to pull me off track, but I don't fall for the tricks. I ain't dancing with that. Every bar that I spit, yeah, I'm speaking it right. I prefer black women. They my love, they my light. Black woman, you the jewel that the world try to hide. Every system built against you, but you still multiply. You the sun in the morning, you the moon in the night. You the fire in the struggle, you the truth in the fight. When they call you too strong, I just call you divine. Every scar that you carry, tell a story in time. You the rhythm of the Nile, you the roots of the tree. You the mother, the daughter, every prayer set free. Devil whisper in the dark, come and chase my glow. But your melanin royalty outshine that show. You the poetry in motion, you the song in my chest. You the reason I resist every counterfeit test. No diamond, no pearl could replace what you bring. You the crown on the king, you the strength in the ring. And I ain't dancing with shadows when the stakes that high. I'll be holding to your hand till the day I die. Moonlight shadows trying to pull me off track, but I don't fall for the tricks. I ain't dancing with that.
I'll play the full one at the end.
All right.
I play the full song at the end because I know we got a guest coming. I just wanted.
That's what I'm saying. That's how you do
the devil. I'm not dancing with the devil in the pale moonlight.
That's how you start off the show. That's how you start off the show.
And if y'all think y'all know what I'm talking about.
So as I was saying, so every day I'm dropping jewels on different trailblazing black women in Westchester. We celebrated Pearl Calls and several other.
I'm sorry. What happened?
I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. All right,
so,
go ahead.
So
today
we are celebrating the first woman and African-American chief medical officer and medical director of Children's Village, Dr. Traci Gardner, my friend, my cousin, and I've known her since my cousin was dating her. We went to her birthday party down in Mount Holyoke or wherever that was back in the 80s.
Yeah, he's telling our age now. He's starting to tell
hey. I told everybody I just turned 60, so I'm proud of my age.
It's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing.
So we did one. We're doing one or two a day, and I started off with you. One of the ones I started off, and Damon was like, "Yo, call her, tell her to come on the show." So we want to celebrate you.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
International Women's Day, Women's History Month. We're celebrating, and I'm gonna celebrate everybody else. I gotta celebrate my family first. You know what I mean?
Yes. Love that. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. I appreciate you putting me in the book. It means a lot to me, especially in light of the women that are in the book. I really am humbled. I am honored, and hope that I continue to do the work that is deserving of me being in that book. I appreciate you.
No doubt. And one of the things I really tried to do with the book, and also with the profiles this month, you all know the same big names that you see over and over every month. I wanted to trickle in a whole bunch that you don't know. Like today, we celebrated the first city councilwoman in Pound Ridge. Nobody knows who she is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want you to hopefully learn something this month. Be like, oh man, and for us, our young girls to see, there's a lot of sisters doing the damn thing throughout the county, even if you don't know who they are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And also when I have a question, when I have a story that got to do with health or whatever, this is my medical expert that I always call for a quote.
Yes, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, yeah, that you're so right. I mean, I went to Andrea Stewart Cousins' Black History Month event last week, and it was funny because there were so many women on that panel, like every woman on that panel. Actually, even Ken was on the panel. Ken Jenkins was on the panel, and everybody was a first.
Right.
Every single person was the first to hold the position by which they were on the panel for.
Right.
And although I'm grateful, growing up, I never thought that there would still be first left to do.
And there's still some,
right?
some yeah.
And there's still more. And so, for me, it wasn't just, a person of color. Like, I am the first African American, but there was no other person of color even before me. Like,
first woman too, right?
I'm the first woman and the first person of color, so they were white men, before that. And so, you are still continuing to break. What I'm seeing, even for myself and for others, is that we continue to still break barriers of gender and race and ethnicity and all of those things as well. So it speaks to how far we've come but how far we still have to go.
And y'all are causing, you don't know, y'all causing a lot of commotion. This country was run by a bunch of white men, and now it's all these different women and all these first this and first that, and they feel like they losing power, and they trying to hold on to power any way by necessary. So they trying to shut y'all down. Yeah,
that's so true.
Y'all causing commotion. Y'all breaking up. Y'all breaking up the status quo. They not happy about that.
No, for real. And that is real. I mean, Children's Village, let me say, Children's Village is celebrating 175 years.
Wow.
This year. And yeah. And so, in a community that serves primarily, children of color, and primarily African Americans make up a lion's share of those children who find themselves in foster care. So, for me, when children see me and see me as somebody who looks like them, I think that's an important. And I had a kid yesterday. I'll tell you a funny story. Kid last week, I said, you could sit here. You could do something. I can't remember what I was telling him you could do. And he was like, you can't, I don't think you can do that because you're not the boss. And I was like, but I am the boss. And so, right. And he was like, I don't think so. And I was like, no, but I am. And so I said, hold on. So you want me to get somebody? And he was like, yeah, I'm going to need you to get somebody. He was like 8.
Really? Really?
So I went and got 2 nurses, and I said, he has some questions to ask you. And he said, is she the boss? And they were like, yeah, she's the boss. And he was like, yes, she can. He's like, yes, she tells us what to do. She runs this whole place. And so, and he was like, wow. But like, how pivotal, how important is that?
That's crazy.
Do you know what I mean? Because in his mind, a Black woman could not be the boss.
Exactly.
In 2020.
Well, I want to say this is my first time meeting you, Dr. Gardner, and any family member of AJ is a family member of mine. And please continue to do this thing, be the first, because Black excellence deserves more airtime than it's getting. I'm tired of struggle narratives constantly surrounding our communities. And it's super important that we shift perspectives, right? And you being in this space with a real lived experience perspective, I feel like they knew exactly what they were doing when they put you there.
Yeah.
They knew exactly what they were doing. Just like you said, what was that? 100 years?
175.
175. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, see, there you go. There you go.
That's my alarm. If I ain't here, I'm supposed to be. But 175 years with people making decisions for us.
Late.
I was gonna say, if you're 30 minutes late, that tells you you're 30 minutes late, not that you're not here.
Right, that's what I said. If this is going off to say, hey, girl, you supposed to be on 30 minutes ago. I'm just letting you know.
That's hilarious.
But what I'm saying is 175 years they didn't have this perspective, right? This closely in tuned perspective to help our kids, right? To help our kids through trauma, to help our kids with resolutions and giving them the tools that they need to combat the world. So I am grateful for you being in this position. I'm grateful for you being here, and I'm grateful to know you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It is a pleasure. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, so let me give you some background. So they hired me in 2019. And it's funny because even in 2019, initially everybody was all excited, but then, just like Obama and everybody else, it wears off really quickly. Not so much with Children's Village, but like outside, like stakeholders and stuff like that. You start to get a little bit of rumbling. But in 2020, so 1 year after I get the position, we're in COVID. Right. And so and so now I have to save the world at the same time, a new job. Do you know what I mean? And so right. And it was very it was very scary because now you have vulnerable populations in a setting where people aren't even thinking about them. Like in 2020, nobody was thinking. You think about in 2020, think about the time of COVID when you were sitting in front of your television. Think about how many times, if any, you heard anything on the television about foster care system. You can't recall ever watching nursing homes, schools, lots of stuff. But when did you hear on the television anybody speak to child welfare or foster care youth during COVID?
Not at all.
Only when them babies passed away
from
the drugs that was in the daycare floor.
Right. That's it. Right. Mm-hmm. So, right. And so nobody was thinking about this. And I remember calling our CEO, Jeremy Cahoban. I remember calling him and I said to Jeremy, listen, we're going to have to create a system for foster care. I said, nobody has a system. I called the Department of Health. I called the Westchester Department of Health. I called the State Department of Health. And I was they were like, yeah, we don't have a policy or procedure for COVID for foster care. And I said, we're going to have to create one, which we did. And I will say this, and it's a mixed bag, but I'm speaking my truth. At the time, Cuomo gave us 3 epidemiologists to work with to help us create that. And so that was happening behind the scenes. So even in light of everything that was happening, they were also helping me to create a policy for foster care youth. So for that, I am grateful because we were able to not only save lives, but we were also able to test. Back when people were trying to test like Hunger Games, by March, we were able to test kids. We were able to, by the time the vaccine came out, we were able to give that not only to the children, but to the staff and to parent advocates and foster parents. So we set up a whole system and then we shared that across the country. So I spoke to people in Oregon, I spoke to people in Virginia, I spoke to people all over this country and shared that policy with them. And so that no one else would have to try to reinvent the wheel.
That's what's up. Yo, shout out to brother Dennis. Greetings from Ghana. You just never know who's watching. So shout out to my brother who's watching in Ghana.
Yes. Listen, Dennis from Ghana. I just came back from Ghana in January. So you right on time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that was life-changing experience. Listen.
Now, I want to talk about something that Larnez was talking about, I want to piggyback off of that. How important is having a person of color in the position that you in? Because some others don't understand our children. They want to just put their ADHD or they whatever, they give them a bunch of drugs. But understanding our community, understanding our children, how important is it to have that in the space that you're in?
Yeah, I think, you know what, I know the thing that I think that is helpful is that, first of all, I understand that we are multifaceted. We have variability within our not just our melanin, but in our culture and our history. And I understand that. So, every kid that walks into the room has a story, has a different story. And so we are truly a diaspora of people. So whenever I work with the youth, it's like one-on-one. And though I'm a chief medical officer, I still actually make a point to see some kids because I still want to be connected. And so I think it's important because I don't know everybody has that lens. I don't know if they really understand that just because you see, 3 Black people, it doesn't mean that you're looking at 3 Black people. I mean, they Black people by the social construct of race in America, but they come with a vast story that may have them coming from Ghana or Barbados or Brazil or whatever. So I think, and that comes with, a different culture and understanding. So I think when you have someone who understands that, I think you can give better medicine. I teach at the medical school, and I always tell them, like, if you don't understand, like, the community that you're working with, then you're always practicing medicine with one hand behind your back.
So, any questions, Damon? I know you always got something.
Nah, man. I'm just so proud of her doing her thing because we need Black faces in places to cover our children. Our children is our future, and because of our how do you put it, societal ills, right? Our children end up in facilities. And we usually, and doing 33 years in correction, it's really hard to see people that look like us in charge of those type of facilities. Last time we had a Black commissioner in the Department of Corrections was in the 90s. And he was appointed by a Republican. And we ain't seen one since. So the thing is that we need to be in those places, so hats off and an honor to you for today for being in those places and allowing young Black children to see a Black face in that place that is making decisions to better them. And it reminds me of an incident. Me and my wife went out to Yonkers. They had a forum. And young Black girls ain't never seen a Black female cop. They were amazed that they were a Black woman cop.
That's right.
So we still have a lot of work to do. And we just got to be in those places. We got to represent correctly, and we have to try to change the lives of our children for the future. And I thank you for doing that.
Thank you so much. And I want to add to what you're saying about, be clear that the child welfare system is if it is a prison pipeline by its systemic structure. Right. And so kids get in trouble. They end up on the juvenile justice side, and then they turn 18. And now they're doing stuff they did when they were 17, but now now they're adult. So it is, but a lot of it stems from all the social determinants of health and poverty, lack of education, all of the things that, I often say to my team, children should never have to parent themselves. Like, if you're 16, it's still got teen at the end of it, right? And so you're still a kid, and so And so I think that we are, whatever happens with our kids, and we have to culturally not adultify our kids, right? And so we need to understand, especially in a child who's been through some things, if a child is with us at the bare minimum, they have been, especially on our residential, we do foster care work as well, where they're with foster families, or we work with families within families. But if you're talking about those who are actually on, like, have been taken away from their parents periodically, and they're with us, or they're with the foster families, they've been taken away from their parents. And that is a kid's worst nightmare. Okay. And so that's one instance. Some kids I have seen, their parents died. So they've done nothing wrong, like nothing.
Right.
They've done nothing
Right.
wrong. Like, you know what I mean? And so, right. And yet they're in the same circumstances. So that's why it's so important not to act as if they're a monolith, because each one of them has a different story and that led them to this place. And we have to tease out what is needed. And by the way, all of that in my mind falls under health, because their health and well-being is what's going to help them to, you know, to get them to a productive adult. So it's the health pieces, whether you're talking about mental health, physical health, trauma, all of the things that have happened. If you're a small child and you've had lack of, for whatever reason, your mom, you know, maybe your mom went through something, your parents went through something, so your attenuation, your connection with them has been not as healthy as it could have been when you were a small child. That has an impact on you, who you become. And so, like, there's all of these very nuanced things that affect your health and your well-being. And we need to, and that's our role to figure that out for them.
Absolutely. Also want to give a shout out. I have another cousin in the house. Warren Kent works with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, you got all the cousins. AJ got all the cousins.
No,
so,
I'm gonna hear it. I'm gonna get a text message. Why you ain't give me a shout out? So I'm giving my cousin.
Yeah, you got all the cousins. Okay. Yes, another person doing amazing work. Warren is a rock star in this field.
He actually we did a show on foster care and the whole system, and he gave me a couple of brothers that he recommended for the show, and we did a whole show on that, and he put that together. So yeah,
he does a lot of community-based work, and you know, some real tough challenges. Like, he does, you know, the things over him, which, you know, kind of overlap with me, but like, you know, girls being sex trafficked, and, you know, like, this is hard work. This is not an easy lift.
Right.
You know what it's not, like, you know what I mean? These are people who have you know, young, you know, young children and teenagers and adolescents, but they're, you know, have all, you know, been through some things. And
you were able, actually, we have a friend of mine has a niece who went through the system, and you know, we're not gonna go through that whole story, but she was trying to get in touch with her, and I was calling you to find out some information. He was like, "Oh, she's right here. I just seen her yesterday. She was in there, and you were able to help connect them a little bit." That little girl had been through a lot, and you know, so I seen it firsthand what they go through, getting stripped from their families, and the whole process is definitely, you know, has that effect on them. And I don't know where she is now. She's in Pennsylvania somewhere now.
Oh, so wow. And also, too, I don't think people talk enough about, and I don't know, is that the intersectionality of the other systems, right? So we often talk about, like, sort of the criminal system and the court system, and that definitely plays a role in the, and the police are often heavily involved because they, you know, they find themselves truant or what have you. But you know, the education system, the educational gaps in child welfare are staggering. Yeah, I mean, they are staggering. And you know, we don't talk about those who may have disabilities. Do you know what I mean? Right. And so, like, there's a lot of, like, intersectionality when it comes to this particular system, besides the health and mental health. And all, they literally are touched by every housing's an issue. You know, there's just it's, you're really trying to work at, like, with every system.
Is there anything I didn't ask you that you want to share about you, about Children's Village, about the experience of being the first in that space? Anything that I didn't ask you before you go? And I don't know if Damon and Larnez have any more questions.
I have one more question.
Shoot, yeah.
So I know you said they hired you in 2019, right? So prior to this, was this still your focus? Was what were you still trying to infiltrate this system with the amount of impact you have now?
Yeah, so I owned a practice prior to joining at Children's Village. So I started sort of working at Children's Village in 2008, actually, with young ladies in foster care. So funny, somebody says single mothers. They were single mothers in foster care, but they were still adolescents. So they were under 21 and they had one child. So I was doing parent education for them. So that was my first introduction into child welfare. That was in 2018. And so when I got there, I started doing that work. And then I also started doing some work with unaccompanied minors as well. Children who come across the border alone. So that's a whole another system. And so I started doing that work as well. And then so the combination of all of that, and then seeing some kids in the child welfare system, and then in 2019, so I had been there for some time, for about 11 years before. So I was already sort of doing the work, but in that time frame, it's funny you saying that, because in that time frame I started doing other things. So for example, I started seeing some of the issues in the other spaces. So I started doing some work with the New York State justice system, and I was placed on the advisory council for the attorneys for children. And so they have an advisory council for that. And I'm pretty sure that was shout out to Judge Kathy Davidson, who said, like, we need to have an expert. We need to have pediatrician on this. Like, we're talking about families and we don't got an expert. And I had to go through some process for that. I believe I might have been the first doctor, may have been on that. Because I don't know that they had a pediatrician before that. I also then I became the medical director for the Valhalla School District. I was the first woman and person of color for that as well. And then, so I was already sort of in the trajectory of looking at these sort of big systems and how they're impacting children. So now I'm the medical director for the school district that's associated with Children's Village, which is a special education school district. And then then I decided, I need to make sure that we educate doctors, right, while they're still medical students and while they still care about the work and why before they become jaded. So I had already started teaching before that. So in 2000 and I don't know 16 or somewhere, I can't remember exactly. They created a job for me. So I was the first to have a job. Which was director of community engagement for New York Medical College, and then they created another job. So I was the first to hold both of these jobs. They didn't exist before me, which was the director of health equity, director of anti-racism and anti-bias. However, in February of 2025, they had to dissolve that position. And that's why I became again the director of community engagement. So to your question, it was like, I think that, like, I always knew, even when I was in private practice, that I had a real commitment to social impact, even in private practice. So I felt like this was eventually I was going to be here just by the trajectory of where I was finding myself in all of these spaces, where I was trying to really advocate for children. I mean, I felt like somebody asked me if my life was a movie, what would it be called? And I said, My Life in Advocacy. Yeah. So I feel like that's what I do. And I just happen to be a doctor.
Well, I definitely want to thank you for allowing us to celebrate you. Shout out to your husband, Joffrey.
Yes.
And also shout out to your talented daughter who goes out and does interviews for us. Jalen,
Yeah.
she interviewed
Yes.
Ken
Yeah.
Jenkins, I guess, when he first got the job or whatever. She did the little video interview with him and sent it in. So
Yeah.
shout out to her.
Nice,
And
for sure.
keep doing what you're doing. Actually, I've known you all this time. I just knew about you that I didn't know. So I was just like, oh, damn, I didn't know that. So yeah.
Yeah, just be grinding and just trying to do the work.
Wait.
It.
And Damon, she was a DJ back in the days too.
I was. Yeah. So I was listen. You know what I wasn't, Damon? A rapper. So listen. You know what I can appreciate the fact. Listen, I loved your video because I was terrible at rapping. Like everybody, back in the day, everybody tried to handle at rapping. Like it was the thing. Like you had to try, and I realized that I did not have that skill, and so at 16 I became a DJ, and I did that for a little bit in college, and got an FCC license, was a chief engineer at a radio station, and
Nice.
And then got a job offer, but I wanted to be a doctor, so I went and took a job as a research assistant. I don't know, like I know there's like DJs out here like making $1 million. I don't know. So
you never know. You never know.
But you where you supposed to be though.
I am where I'm supposed to be. Like I have no regrets. I have no regrets. But I feel like how many people I met. I know I'm gonna let y'all go, but you know how many people I met of our generation that DJ'd? It's crazy. I think everybody's trying to do it. They was either trying to rap or trying to DJ. Like this, it's insane.
Damon used to be a rapper. Damon used to rap.
I think, and I had DJ equipment. I think everybody. If you grew up from 1978 to 86.
Yep.
You had some type of DJ equipment in your house.
Yep.
That's true.
Right? You that's when Crazy Eddie's was open. Everybody
everybody went to Crazy Eddie's.
Yes.
Listen, I used to walk to Crazy Eddie's every week and give my little money for my equipment, and I could see it up on the rack with my little tag with my name on it, the turntables or whatever I was buying. I come in there every week, get my stuff, take it home, and then you sharing your records with your friends and everybody sharing records, and then doubles get missing because people don't want to return both of them, and it was a mess. But you made it work.
I was fortunate because when I realized that the college I was at had a radio station. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get on there, right? So I got on the radio station, and then I used the radio station's records, right, to do my DJ.
That's good. That's dope.
to do my DJ gigs. And I gotta tell you, I think about it now. I used to get paid like back in the 80s, which is crazy to me now, like $250, $300.
Mm-hmm.
In the 80s, I was like, yeah, that was like good money back then. I was like, yeah, it was a good thing. I met Cut Creator on a cruise not that long ago. I was in October, and I was like, I was like, oh, my little hip hop heart is full now, because I, as you start to meet people, that you sort of
right.
I think LL and I are like the same age or close to the same age, and so. When you start to meet, people who you emulated or tried to. I've met Red Alert and some others now since then, and it's really it's so funny how life is.
Yeah, and you know what? In the college radio scene, back in the 80s was the greatest. I remember a friend of mine. He ended up going to this white school up in Connecticut. It was mostly white. And he brought the little crew up there. I remember us getting in a rental car. Back then, you could be 15 years old and rent a car, right? Yes. And, it was weird. It's just the times were just so different back then. And we used to drive, and we was just like celebrities, up on the campus, and we used to sleep in the dorm in his room, but go out and do a show, and it was amazing. Like that I don't think these kids will never see what we saw and experience what we saw. And there was no cell phones back then.
No, none at all. And none at all. Like we just like you went to the party and you actually danced because you know what? You didn't really have a choice. There was no screen, there was no cell phone, there wasn't anything. Like you actually had to dance.
A house party, you was going in there to get it in. You wasn't thinking, wasn't nobody on the phone, wasn't nobody texting each other, wasn't nobody. You went down there and get on the way, and you was just trying to find a girl and dance.
That's it. That's it. Your whole agenda was to dance. That was it. You had no other agenda when you walked in that room.
No, my agenda was going to find a girl and dance.
Right. And also, right. I mean, that's also when you met people. I met my husband. It is Joe, AJ's cousin. I met my husband at a party.
Yep.
I met him at a party, at a college party. That's where we met. At a college party, and that's what we did. And it's so funny you saying that because WYBC, which is the Yale Broadcasting Corporation, was big because the Yale Broadcasting Station was primarily its entire programming was Black music. So we spent that's where we, I grew up originally in New Haven, and that's where we heard everything. That's where people came. That's where we saw them. It was through the Yale broadcast. It was through WYBC. So when you talk about like white spaces that had like college,
exactly
radio, that's what it was. I went to a predominantly white. I went to a BWI. And
I gotta see what school Carlton was. It was in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And when we got on campus, like, yo, where's the Black people, bro? Like, we didn't see any Black. It was just him. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, how are you the only Black guy? And I don't know what school. I have to hit him on Instagram because SM radio. He stayed with it. He ended up having a radio station and stuff like that in Connecticut. He literally stayed with it, and he still does radio. He still does radio in Connecticut. So
I have a number of people that I know that still. My first grade friend, which is why I was on the Tom Joy in the Morning Cruise, is a radio. She's a radio personality in Indianapolis. She's a program director of operations.
I gotta find out what college that was. Yeah. I gotta hit him and say what college did we go to. But we had a great time.
As an artist, it was the college stations that we got most love. The college stations played us. The colleges booked us. The colleges, we did all the fraternity parties, the sorority party, all the parties for all the events and stuff. Most of our money, we got most love from colleges because we wasn't getting daytime radio love, and it wasn't every commercial station didn't have a mix show yet. You got love, somewhere between 10 and 4 in the morning, you know what I'm saying, on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursday, like just the oddest days. They came on crazy times, but that's where we got all our love. So, yeah, shout out to college radio and everybody who does that. Any last words? Anything else we want to anything else?
I just want to thank you again. This has really been a pleasure. I appreciate it. Please, happy to come on anytime, especially if there's a medical issue or something, or
absolutely.
Chat about. I'm always happy to do that, even if it's about radio.
Well, you came on. I think you came on for COVID. I think you came on during COVID.
I did. Oh my God, I did a ridiculous amount of ridiculous. At that time, I did which doesn't even exist anymore. Black News Unite something. It was Brian Allen, I think, on that. Did a lot. Yeah, a lot of town halls and listen, let me say this too before I go. I don't know what but we are not prepared, okay, if we are to have another pandemic. Prior to COVID, what we had were and this is important, we had epidemics. Epidemics are regional, right? Swine flu, MERS, which was the Middle Eastern respiratory virus, which was a coronavirus, by the way, and SARS, which was in China, which is a coronavirus, and also Ebola, which was regional to Africa. And so those were all epidemics. So Obama had prepared us for what was to be an epidemic But by having someone start to create a vaccine for coronavirus, which is what Dr. Kizzmekia Corbett started in 2014, though she doesn't get enough credit, the NAACP honored her last year for her work because it was commandeered by somebody else who claimed that they did it, but it was a Black woman who created the coronavirus vaccine. And that's important to our community because we did not take the vaccine because we didn't understand that we created the vaccine.
That's crazy.
Okay. Right. Because under a Black president, by the way.
That's crazy. Lastly, I want to give you a shout out. I see your chain jingling.
Yeah.
So, as two fathers of daughters who are AKA, shout out to you.
Absolutely.
Yes, I appreciate it. Yes.
I just want to mention Dennis over here from Ghana said that he was the person that drove you.
No way.
Yeah, so you got a fan. All the way from Ghana.
That's amazing.
He said, "Great to see you again, Dr. Tracy."
Oh, bless you. Oh, that's amazing. Well, this how small the world is.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yes, that was an unbelievable experience, Dennis. That my trip there was life changing, and I highly recommend that everyone step their foot on the continent of Africa, because it really. I'm gonna say I will say this, and I think it really speaks to what we're talking about today. What I learned when I was there. That I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. And that's what I learned. And I also learned that I am the descendant of the most resilient, surviving group of people who have ever walked this earth. Okay.
Talk about it. Yes.
Okay. And through generations and generations and generations and generations. And they were determined to survive so that I could be here. And so that was not lost on me, and it changed. Not that I was always a proud Black woman, but it's very different when you get to see what they had to endure in order for me to be here. And I can never repay that debt. So I am responsible to continue to be an advocate for people who look like me, but just the human race, and to make people feel seen and heard. So I am grateful for that. So Ghana I will always have a special place in my heart because it really was life-changing for me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for all that you do. We wanted to give you your flowers again.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Women's History Month, International Women's Day. Dr. Traci Gardner.
Thank you.
Salute you.
Thank you all. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right, then take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.